Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about Mapungubwe. Mapungubwe is it's an ancient archaeological site in Limpopo province, in the foremost province of South Africa, known as Limpopo. It was actually come into prominence in 1933 after archaeologists were informed about the existence of this prehistoric site. But eventually, they discovered it. One thing that we don't know about Mapungubwe is that white people never discovered Mapungubwe. Mapungubwe was discovered was known within the community, especially among Babirwa and Mangwatu people and Bakwena and other group that live in Limpopo. Because the first person to write about Mapungubwe was secretary of Mangwatu people, Peter Sibina. Peter Sibina was the first first person to write about Mapungubwe formally. He published an article titled Makalaka, where he wrote about Mapungubwe site, and he described it, referred it more precisely. And then from there, the European tried to locate it. They could not find it until 1933, after they were told again that the custodian of Mapungubwe Royal Grave, his name was Chiwana Mokwena. Chiwana Mokwena was interrogated, and then they eventually find the place. Leo Fushi and J.P. Lestrade acknowledged the contribution of the Mapungubwe Royal Grave custodian Chiwana Mokwena. And Daniel Mokwena also emphasized that he is aware of that. But the problem was created. Thomas Huffman, archaeologist from America, entered Mapungubwe as a researcher, where he started to erase the history of the local people. He was coming from Rhodesian monument, entering South Africa, attached to vets in South Africa, and was supported by Pretoria and the Cape Town universities to erase the history of the local people. Imagine such a rich history is being erased by Thomas Huffman, who don't have knowledge about African cultures. The worst part of it is that Thomas Huffman New Scholarships was destroying the evidence of female rulers. Mapungubwe, it was ruled by females. Thomas Huffman was advocating that the ruler was a man. In a country like South Africa, whereby majority of the black women are still treated as second-class citizens, it's happened because of apartheid legacy and colonial legacy and patriarchy in Africa. Thousands of the black women are still being subjugated, treated badly. Mapungubwe could be used by academic and scholarship to elevate the status of black women. But universities in South Africa, because they were greedy, they were getting money to write about Mapungubwe, they put a lot of emphasis as a kingdom that was ruled by men. Very sadly, if you Google Mapungubwe, the information come in, it's Thomas Huffman, the Shona, Venda. Nothing come out about Bahalaka people, whom Thomas Huffman disregarded them. Today, when you Google Mapungubwe, it's about him and his people. He refused. He removed the history, the real history. But having said that, we must think people from Limpopo who managed to put that information together and try to, to commemorate or try to actually to organize an event, which is Mapungubwe Festival, where they use that things as a tool to bring people together. Mapungubwe heritage is a very great heritage that ever happened in South Africa. It gives a light about the discovery of the gold, that the black people were mining gold way back before the discovery of gold in Barberton in 1870. The black people were already mining in these countries. In 1874, before the discovery of gold in Barberton in 1874, and eventually in Gauteng in 1886. Africans, native, were mining within the area. Surprisingly, if you go to Barberton, you go to Gauteng, you go to around Limpopo valleys, you find people who speak the same languages. A person who led to the discovery of the graves of Mapungubwe, his name is Chiwana Mokwena. He speaks the same languages. You ask yourself, is this coincident? Absolutely no. Same people. They are the same people that were mining in Gauteng, in the Barberton areas, in other area where the gold was discovered. Archaeologists in South Africa, they disrespect native people, African knowledge system. The question that you need to ask yourself: Thomas Huffman and his team of archaeologists disregard a black woman in such a way that they erase that black woman from history. Like I said, because Mapungubwe is a female, Mu is a female, Makwena is a female. Nobody wants associated African with gold. Despite the fact that in African community, minerals are considered to be females. Everything that comes from the ground is a female. But they didn't respect these traditions. One of the most respected, rulers of the southern parts of Africa was a female. Despite the fact that J.P. Lestrade and Luo Fushi and their excavation team, they indeed found the grave that showed that the grave belonged to the females. Thomas Huffman was acting like he's a real discoverer. How does his team feel when you Google him? I understand that some of these archaeologists are no longer alive, but their legacy is not to celebrate it. When Portuguese talk about this gold field of South Africa, people of Mapungubwe already know about this gold field. In 1506, the Portuguese traveler, the Portuguese who was sent by Emmanuel, wrote about this gold. And we must be honest about the concept of Bahalaga. The word Bahalaga is not a Shona term. Matebele from Zimbabwe arrived in the Highveld in 1806. Way before they come there were already people who live in, before they arrive in Highveld, they passed in 1836. And then there were Ndebele who live in Highveld. That's what they called, even the son of Bahuru, his name is Mutebele. From Zimbabwe, they must solve their problem with Shonas, other tribe that live there. They must learn from Limpopo province. Limpopo province has many tribes. They've got more than 7 tribes or 6 or approximately, and more than over 50 ethnic clans. But those people are living harmonies. In the Shona, we are told that the Shona people were so civilized, they were ruling in Mapungubwe, but the Shona language is not spoken outside their own environment. This country that we're living in, archaeologists have been oppressing people. They destroy history, they destroy humanities. How do you feel as an archaeologist or institutions? You erase black female from history, the most disadvantaged person in South African history. Male patriarchy in archaeology is very sad. Mapungubwe project could be used by South African universities to elevate the status of black women. That is a black woman. But these male archaeologists were talking about another king who was so powerful. What was that kings? A king whose name is Mapungubwe. Have you ever heard a man whose name is Mapungubwe or Mahomu or Makwena? Men, the name Ra. Makwena, Mapungubwe. Even invent the term, the female vendor prefix, they use nya. Nya waseza, nya mukamadi. Vendor people don't use prefix for ma. Makwena, Mapungubwe, Matlowe, or is not a Shona. It's a Sotho-Tswana culture. The Sotho-Tswana culture is the oldest. It can reproduce others. But the Shona culture can reproduce Tswana cultures. We need to study history from the moral perspective to build ourselves. But we must also think that whoever contributed to preservation of the legacy of Mapungubwe, they must continue to do that. All the best, sharp.